Before we get into the heart of today's program, I want to encourage you all to support our local farmers. There's a more direct call during November as we observe Eat Jamaican Month. Let us eat what we grow so our farmers may continue to grow what we eat. Hello and welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Need to know your HIV status? Why not pick up a self-test kit from your pharmacy and follow the instruction? Plus another interesting conversation on finance matters coming up right after the news.
Honey, get ready. We have to reach the shelter before the rain get heavy.
Rush me. I have to make sure so they was locked up tight.
You have the bag with the food, clothes, medication, and the documents in the passport and birth certificate.
Yeah. How much time you gonna remind me?
You know, pack the bag with the mask and hand sanitizer, because me not able to run out.
Yeah. Alright, let me go get that.
You're gonna make the rain wet way up.
In light of COVID-19, if you have to go to a shelter this hurricane season, ensure you take along your mask and hand sanitizer and maintain a distance of at least 6 feet from others. For more information, visit the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management ODPEM and the Ministry of Health and Wellness's social media pages. A message from ODPEM and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, November 18, 2021. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is projecting that Jamaica's economy will rebound from the fallout caused by the COVID-19 pandemic to record growth of 8.25% for the 2021-2022 fiscal year, moderating to 3.5% in 2022-2023. The projection came out in a statement on Wednesday following an IMF 2021 staff Article 4 mission consultation for Jamaica. According to the fund, Jamaica has been able to prevent a fiscal crisis due to pre-COVID buffers and a calibrated policy response to the pandemic-related shocks. But while the outlook is good, the IMF points out that risks remain, the most significant being the pandemic, as new COVID-19 waves in Jamaica or abroad could lead to a more prolonged disruption of tourism, trade, and capital flows. The upside involves a faster pace of vaccinations at home and abatement of the pandemic in Jamaica's main tourism markets. In the meantime, though, tourism has rebounded to near 70% of the pre-crisis levels, and other sectors have picked up as well. Real GDP in the second quarter of 2021 was 14.2% higher than the same period a year earlier. The International Monetary Fund is recommending that as the pandemic recedes and recovery advances, Jamaica should restart debt reduction and rebuild its buffers, which included a higher primary surplus. The fund argues that policies should also focus on boosting growth, which has been low in the last decades, enhancing institutions, and tackling the still high levels of poverty and crime. Meanwhile, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett is reporting that cruise operations will resume at all ports by the end of December. He was making his presentation in Parliament earlier this week. The minister reveals that the Celebrity Equinox, Ada Diva, and Crystal Serenity cruise ships are expected to return to Falmouth later this month. The Disney Cruise Line flagship vessel, Disney Fantasy, is also scheduled to return to Falmouth in December.
And since cruise shipping resumed in August, we have welcomed over 36,000 cruise passengers, while our earnings, Madam Speaker, are now at the $1.5 billion mark. Jamaica is well on its way to recovery. It is already evident in the numbers that our new approach to our tourism offerings, born out of a COVID-19 pandemic considerations, is paying off.
Minister Bartlett says the current 60% vaccination rate among tourism workers is helping to facilitate a smooth reopening of the cruise shipping industry. Following an almost 20-month break, Falmouth welcomed its first cruise ship on Sunday, the Carnival Corporation's Emerald Princess, with more than 3,500 passengers and crew. More than 50 farmers from Bunta St. Elizabeth are now benefiting from the recently upgraded Astrojam cold storage facility in the area. The upgrade allows farmers to supply more produce to the company, which now has the capacity to stockpile thousands of pounds more of produce. Minister with responsibility for agriculture and fisheries, Audley Shaw, was on hand for the recent official opening. He says the upgrade addresses the need for the development of reliable and efficient cold chains that not only reduce crop loss, but also prevent forced low-price sales.
Of course, this is in line with the efforts of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, as these are to improve local conditions and capacities, creating better food quality at the national level to meet the standards, regulations, and market demand for both local and international markets, while ensuring our small farmers remain functional.
He says the ministry intends to advance partnerships with the private sector for the development of fully functional fresh produce and livestock transportation storage and distribution systems. This, he says, will ensure there is balance in the supply and demand of agricultural produce, thereby stabilizing market prices. The Percy Junior Hospital in Manchester has been gifted with a new operating theatre bed, boosting the facility's capacity to perform the 600 operations it does annually. Valued at $10,250, it was donated by the Rachel Dixon Memorial Fund. Senior medical officer at the hospital, Dr. Carlos Wilson, explains that the bed has become the hospital's primary and major operating theatre bed, which will be used daily for emergency and elective surgeries. Founder of the Rachel Dixon Memorial Fund, Oswald Dixon, says they are committed to the health, education, and well-being of Jamaicans, hence the donation. 11 tertiary institutions that have satisfied the requirement for registration with the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission, JTEC, were presented with their certification on Wednesday. They are located in St. James, Manchester, St. Anne, Kingston, and Clarendon. Commissioner of JTEC, Dr. Damian Black, says the agency's mandate is to maintain a register of all levels of tertiary education institutions and guide their processes so they may be compliant in meeting regulatory standards.
That there may be concerns about their documentation with respect to their planning, their risk management framework. It could be the whole issue of business continuity planning. It could be the extent to which they have policies in place that are rigidly adhered to or followed that guide their financial management. And so development speaks to how do we help them to get to the next phase of operations.
Mr. Black was addressing a JIS think tank on Tuesday to highlight the work of the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission. JTEC was established as the regulatory body for higher education in Jamaica. Tertiary institutions are regulated against international benchmark standards. And finally, Parliament on Tuesday paid tribute to former government minister Orville D. Ramtally, who died on Sunday at age 96. Mr. Ramtally, who was a member of the Order of Distinction, served as Minister of Housing as well as Minister of State in the Ministry of Energy and Mining. He also served as Member of Parliament for Southwest and Central Clarendon. House Speaker and Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett led the remembrance, saying Mr. Ramtally added much value to the nation.
Was instrumental in building a number of communities, enriching lives and creating settlements that enabled the well-being of a number of Jamaicans to be realized.
He is a legend and somebody who was much loved. His commitment to the process of nation building through the party of his choice was unconditional and very profound.
I know his daughter and his family must be proud of the service he gave to this country. I will ask the clerk to send a card to his family expressing our condolence on his passing.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Behind every Jamaican medical cannabis product is a story. To create that perfect plant requires the care, patience, and nurturing of that special farmer. When harvested, it is carefully transported to a processing facility where it is transformed into high-quality medical cannabis products for consumption by responsible consumers. All this and more is possible through the closed-loop system created by the Cannabis Licensing Authority to protect the integrity of Jamaica's medical cannabis industry. For more information, call the Cannabis Licensing Authority at 876-654-7582 or visit our website at cla.org.jm.
I must urge all users of cyberspace, do not, for fear of being labeled a victim, refuse to report or follow through the process. Once you think that there is something wrong, seek advice. And the easiest way to get that advice is to come to Jamaica CERT or to go to the nearest police station. You will not be looked down upon for being a victim of cybercrime because it is a matter of when for us all, not if.
To report a cybercrime, call or visit the website of the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team or make a report to your nearest police station.
There is more privacy in getting to know your HIV status from the comfort and convenience of your home with the help of a self-test kit. It's now available at pharmacies island-wide.
The National Family Planning Board takes pride in launching HIV self-testing as another option for persons who want to know their HIV status. And yes, it is here. We're putting this product into the hands of members of the public through a very important public-private partnership through the pharmacies, and this will facilitate our reach to a wider audience. This kit allows persons to self-test within the comfort of their homes or to opt for self-test at a healthcare facility. You and your partner can do the test. So we're encouraging the sexually active persons at high risk to make use of available kits to determine their HIV status.
The National HIV Program is continuing its mandate of ensuring the provision of care through this new modality. This joins existing modalities of provider-initiated testing and counseling offered at our health facilities, outreach testing provided by our prevention team, and targeted testing through contact tracing and counseling. Testing allows for two things: the indication of a positive test or the provision of a negative result. For all persons who do self-testing, there are also avenues available for prevention, for treatment, and counseling. So we're not just sending you to do a self-test at home. All health facilities in Jamaica can guide you through the process of a positive or a negative test. However, there are 44 treatment sites in the public and private setting that you can go to get expert treatment and management of any HIV condition and HIV itself. The listing of all these health facilities is available on the Ministry of Health and Wellness's website. It will be available at the pharmacies that will be doing the self-testing, and it will also be available on our NFPB website. This initiative by the Ministry of Health and Wellness through the National Family Planning Board is welcomed as Jamaica moves towards epidemiological control of HIV.
This fits into our sustained effort to have more persons being tested for HIV, as well as increase the number of persons who are aware of their HIV status. Globally, the body UNAIDS has had challenged us back in 2020 to have a 90% of all people living with HIV to know their status. Another 90% of people to be diagnosed with HIV infection receiving sustained antiretroviral ARV treatment, and the last 90 of persons to be on antiretroviral treatment to attain viral suppression. No, the wider availability of the HIV test has the opportunity to ensure the realization of the first 90 targets. Success in this endeavor will mean we can end AIDS pandemic by 2030. The challenges to the continuum of care are being addressed by the program. This is one of the things to definitely make that happen. Checking our HIV status, especially if we are sexually active and not using protection. This is important for you to make sure you get this self-test kit.
You have the fluid for actually conducting the test and your swab stick that you will use and test for your results. Now, when persons hear about the oral test, they usually think that it's just push it into your mouth, but we don't want to be testing the saliva. You actually need to rub along the gum line, both top and bottom of the gum, to ensure, and it's kind of, you have to do it hard to ensure that you are getting the cells. And you insert it in the container. Now you'll have to wait for 20 minutes to read it. It is suggested that you read at 20 minutes, not long after, not before. So there you go. Your results will be presented here. If you get a reactive or a positive result, you need to ensure that this result is confirmed through a confirmatory test. So you can go to any one of our treatment sites to get a confirmatory test done.
We are proud to partner with the Ministry of Health and the National Family Planning Board, and we are pleased to add this to our list of services. This is indeed a step in the right direction as we empower our communities to take greater control of their health.
We are confident that the purity of intent of the National Family Planning Board to make Jamaicans aware of their HIV status will indeed contribute positively to the general health and wellness of our citizens. I know that a lot of persons' life will indeed be enhanced by this venture.
There you have it. HIV self-testing is now here. You can go ahead and access these test kits at participating pharmacies across the island. And follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages to get more information about where these test kits are available.
Getting the first dose is not an excuse not to wear the mask, not to social distance or physical distance, not to sanitize. Getting the first dose is not justification for deciding that you're going to resume the parties, the gatherings beyond the limits that have been established. The journey is to observe the protocols, take the second dose when it is time, and then we will resume some semblance of normalcy once we achieve herd immunity.
Up next, another interesting discussion on finance matters.
The Students' Loan Bureau is Jamaica's premier student loan financing organization committed to ensuring that qualified, needy Jamaican students have equal access to financial assistance to pursue tertiary education for the last 50 years. In excess of 10,000 students apply for loans annually, and on average, 99% of these are successful in accessing an SLB loan. Welcome to Finance Matters. I'm Daniel Pasley, and today I'll be speaking to the Executive Director for the Students' Loan Bureau, Ms. Nikisha Walsh, about how they're making it easier for persons to access tertiary education. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Ministry of Finance on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to see all the episodes and highlights. Thank you, Ms. Walsh, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Now, recently, the Students' Loan Bureau has celebrated something monumental. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, the student loan is celebrating 50 years in existence, and so far in 50 years we have issued over $51 billion in loans to approximately 340,000 students. So
$51 billion to
$51 billion.
Over 340,000 students?
Yes, that is correct.
Wow. How is the Students' Loan Bureau making it easier for current and prospective students to access loan support?
Currently, students can access our website and apply through our portal, where you will get a response within 48 hours. This is a pre-approval to tell you that you are qualified for a loan. Thereafter, you'll get an email to tell you what are the documents that you need to submit. Since COVID, we recognize that persons cannot come to the office to drop off their documents. So what we have done, we have partnered with 3 ATIs, which is University of the West Indies, University of Technology, and NCU. You can drop off your information at those colleges and they will submit it to us. Also, we have a Dropbox facility in the office, so you can put it in our pre-envelope and you can drop it off, where we will call you and tell you that your loan has been applied and you can now come in and sign the promissory note. So we are looking at ways where you don't have to actually travel to the office.
Yeah.
So we are currently developing a system, a new loan management system that will have our applicants, our students, not just apply but also upload your documents, and we have partnered with the university, so we will get the information directly from them through their portal in terms of confirmation that you're confirming the university, and also their information on their status. So if you're a returning student, we will want to know what is your current GPA, and because you have to have a minimum GPA in terms of to apply for a return student.
So what is the minimum GPA?
The minimum GPA is 1.5. So we need to ensure that you are current and you are in college before you can get your second semester loan or your second term loan. So instead of you bringing in your GPA, we are using the portal through the ATIs to access those information. So we want it to become easy. You stay at your home, you apply, you upload your documents, we validate the information, and then you can come in and sign your promissory note without making a trip more than once.
So do you still need more than one guarantor?
No, since this financial year, you are only allowed to have one guarantor. We assess our risk and we recognize that, moving forward to assist persons in terms of getting all the documentation together, we are just accepting one. And that was announced by our minister this financial year.
So we're in this challenging period of COVID-19. How has the trends been like for persons who are applying for student loans for the last year?
Oh, happy for that question. Last year, we saw a 4.5 increase in applications. We recognize that pandemic, it's new. Persons weren't having the opportunity to go overseas to do the work and study program. We saw where parents are no longer employed because of the fallout in the economy. So persons now access our benefits. So we're happy for that 4.5 increase, and we want to make sure that our facilities open and enough funds to access even more persons.
And I saw on the news about the Jump Start program. I see that's an exciting initiative being launched by SLB. Could you tell us more about that?
Well, we recognize that Outside of the loan facility, there are some programs that are above our limit. So student loan maximum for our loan is $1 million. And there are some programs, and there are some persons, not just tuition needs, but school-related expense.
Yeah.
So our Jumpstart scholarship is valued at $300,000 each for 10 lucky students. So to apply for that, you would need to go online, submit your application, and there is a financial need assessment that to see if you fall in the category of needy students. So that is a one-off scholarship for only persons entering in their first year.
Only in their first year.
Yes, it's a jump start into college. So we want you to, be able to go to college and pay for other school-related expenses. And that is how we feel like we want to give back, especially at this juncture in our 50 years.
Wow, great initiative. Now, how can persons access more information?
You can go to our website, www.slbja.com, or you can also come into our office and collect the application form, or you can send us an email at info@slb.com, and you can also follow us at Student Loan Bureau on the other social media handles.
Thank you, Ms. Walsh, for coming on the program and sharing some pertinent information about the new developments happening at the Students Loan Bureau.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us on Finance Matters. Remember, you can follow us on social media at MOF Jamaica, and tune in next week as we continue to demystify the economic and fiscal policies and initiatives implemented by the government to empower Jamaicans as we chart a path to Jamaica's economic prosperity.
All children deserve positive parenting. Why not pamper us? Be patient with us. Make time to teach us, and of course, play with us. Celebrate milestones with us, and don't forget to be our #1 supporter. Do all these things and practice positive parenting today.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.